Whether you are a beginner and you've never budgeted before, or you have your own systems in place, but maybe they feel a little bit muddy or overwhelming, stick around. I'm going to hop into my budget and show you exactly how to budget for 1 month of expenses. All we're looking at are 30 days of expenses and your income, and we're going to keep it very simple, actionable, and organized. Stick around. Hey, what's up guys? It's Justine with Debt Free Millennials, the channel to help you crush your debt, live payment free. Budgeting is the #1 tool that helped me pay off $35,000 in student loan debt in 2.5 years on a $37,000 salary. Budgeting is the constant. It is the success that I have felt and created for myself financially. Without the budget, I would not be able to have achieved all of the financial goals in the past and the things that I'm striving for in the future. So I want to take a minute to hop into my budget toolkit. This is my free budgeting spreadsheet that I have created and used since I started paying off those student loan payments in 2011. Oh my gosh, this has been so long. So you can go ahead and click the link below to download the toolkit for free by yourself, and then come back over to this video and we are going to run through how to set this up. All right, so I am going to show how I've set this up for myself. This is my actual budget. I want to show you actual numbers so that you can get a sense of how you can customize this for yourself. But the way that you start off with budgeting for 1 month of your expenses is you've got to start with your income first. You have to have an understanding of how much money you bring in on a monthly basis. This is super easy for W-2 income workers because your paychecks most likely don't fluctuate. If you are a commission-based worker and your income does fluctuate, or you're self-employed like I am, my income months are all over the place. What I like to do is I like to take an average of the last 3 months of income to see what I'm working with. Or you can work off of the lowest month that you've had income-wise. So if you've had a 5K month, a 3K month, and then like a 4,500K month, then I would budget for your lowest month, or you can take an average of that. And so where you're gonna go inside of the spreadsheet is you're gonna go up here to this box and you are going to look under forecasted. Forecasted, or you could call it planned. I don't know, what do you like better? Forecasted, planned? I can update this in the template if you want. And then you are going to figure out, okay, I know that I make combined with my partner $10,750. And now our income does fluctuate because my husband qualifies for overtime. And of course, you know, my paychecks fluctuate. So this is kind of an average of our last 3 months of income. So once you have your total monthly income that's planned for the month and you have an idea of what that might be, this is where you can start factoring in all of your expenses. If you have debt, your minimum debt payments need to be accounted for inside of your budget spreadsheet. Now, I deleted that part off of my spreadsheet because I'm debt free. But if you download the toolkit template, you're going to see a separate box up at the top for your debt. And then you're just going to go in and change and add all of your debt items there. Just start with the minimum payments first. And then if you're really working on paying off your debt quickly, then you can go in and add extra payments only after all of your basic living needs have been met. So let's talk about that. I actually have this budget broken down into 4 major categories: the fixed, fun, fudge, and future. If you don't know anything about those categories, I will link to a video right up here that explains it all. So I won't explain it in this video. Under fixed, you're going to put in all of your fixed expenses. I do include groceries in that, even though groceries will fluctuate. This is all based off of data that I have from my credit card statement, my bank statements, but most importantly, the budget. And if you're just starting to budget for the very first time, you're really going to have to rely on doing an extra homework assignment as part of this video, which would be to take about an hour to 2 hours to really go through and take a look at how much you are spending on each of these categories and take an average of that over the last 3 months. I think when you take an average, it's really going to help tell you, okay, I really do spend $350 on groceries when really I only thought I spent $200. So that's how I know that I can take a look at some of these items and say, okay, I need to be budgeting $600 in groceries. In fact, though, because I have 3 months of data already for 2022, I'm going to make sure that that's still accurate, because last month, Kyle and I spent a ton on groceries. And I think also because it now includes my daughter's diapers. Like you can see, $990 WTF. Okay, let's just see. Plus $577. I actually stayed under budget for groceries in February. And then January, I was over. So if I take that $2,287 divided by 3, then really I need to increase that budget to $762. So for April, I could actually change this amount to, let's do $750. And then as I update this forecasted column or planned, how much I think or that I want to spend in these categories, that's going to update the net over here. So whatever your income is minus your expenses and then savings, which I'll get to later, this net should equal 0. And the reason why it needs to equal 0 is so that every dollar is accounted for in your budget. You don't have random money floating around. And so right now I have $20 that still needs to be assigned to my budget. So I could just pick another area, but I want to keep going through this budget to make sure I have all of my expenses planned out for just the 1 month. So I've got my cell phone bill, my internet bill, my electricity. I just switched to a level pay option with San Diego Gas and Electric. So hopefully that helps keep that expense level. And then you can also take an average of that just by going into your electric bill account and seeing what the last 3 months have been like. Take an average of that. And that's what you need to be budgeting for. And then some of these are my sinking funds. So sinking funds are money that I am setting aside in my bank account for a future expense that is not a monthly expense, such as paying my CPA. So CPA annual taxes. Okay, so I want to make sure that I have enough money saved up for her so that it's not a surprise expense. And actually, I will be paying her in April because it's tax season. So there you go. So $25. Gas, I know I'm going to be spending money on that. Car expenses and tags, these are something that I set aside money for, including car insurance, all of my insurances. The baby fund I'm no longer contributing to, but I just want to keep it there as my sinking fund to show that there's still money in that account that I can pull from. Baby fund or any types of baby items, baby related furniture, pieces, clothes, anything like that that I want to pull from and spend on my daughter. And then of course our expenses for childcare, which is huge, I know. But I love it. It's one thing that makes me really, really happy. And I'm so glad because I'm debt free and my budget allows for it. All right, so those are our fixed. Now it's your turn to go through and add in your fixed items. Think about all of the things that you know you absolutely have to pay and add it in. Another good way to do this is if you are a person who likes to write things out, get your planner out. And this is what I did actually a week ago. It was awesome. I got out my planner and looked at the monthly calendar view, and I wrote in every single payday that we have for April and every single bill that we have for April as well. I marked the amount, who it was, what it was for, and on the day that it was due so that I could quickly see, okay, these are the bills that are coming up and these are how the paychecks fall in line with those bills. A lot of people get tripped up on this because they think, well, I can't pay that bill until I get paid. When you think about it, your income in a month's view, it'll get easier as you do it, but you're going to take the paycheck from the end of the previous month. So if you got paid out March 28th, you're going to use that paycheck to pay for your rent or your mortgage or your electricity bill or your credit card payments. Whatever is due on the first of the month, you're going to use last month's paycheck at the end of the last month, if that makes sense. So that is how I operate. You're using the end of the previous month's paycheck to pay for the first of the month's bills for the present month. Nah, got it? Okay, cool. Fun money, you always want to make sure that you are including fun money in your budget. Even if you're paying off debt right now, this is something that I think is going to be motivating and help you still live your life, live a healthy, fun lifestyle. So I like to include restaurants, fun money, shopping, clothing, apartment decor I had in there. But again, that's something that I'm not actively contributing to right now. Any of this stuff, any of my memberships or subscriptions, therapy, any of that extra stuff that you don't absolutely need in order to survive and breathe. This is all the fun stuff that you can label underneath here. So I would go ahead and add in any subscriptions that you might have, a monthly subscription inside of fun. If you like to go out, shop, entertainment, all of that stuff lives under fun. And that's how you're going to budget out for it. When you're thinking about planning this, I would think about kind of the top 3 fun expenses that you know you consistently go back to over and over again. So if you are a frequent Target shopper and you know that that's going to definitely be in your life for this month, then I would include more money in your shopping fund. But just be mindful, you may have to play around with this depending on what your goals are. Fudge is your miscellaneous. This is a buffer for your budget. I only put $10. Some people put $100. That's totally fine. If you need to pull or you go over budget on a different category, this is the money that you can pull from. I've gotten to a point where I've consistently spent less than what I actually planned for. And so several months, Kyle and I will have several $100s worth of leftover money that we had budgeted for, but we didn't spend, which I love that feeling. It's kind of a game to see like, okay, how can we like spend less and then we'll have this surplus left over and then we'll really get to decide what else we want to do with it. The last category is future. If you do not have an emergency fund, highly recommend adding that as a category inside of future first. That definitely needs to happen first. If you want to know more about how much you should have in your emergency fund, I will link to a video right up here for you to check out. Right now, we are saving for the down payment is our biggest financial goal to purchase our first home. Then I've also included things like outside investing, outside of our regular retirement investing, and the vacation fund and Quinn's college fund. Any outside investing, any future financial goals that you want to save for monthly lives here. But again, if you are really focused on paying off debt, or if you just have debt in general, definitely needs to be the priority over any kind of future financial goals. Do I think you can save and pay off debt simultaneously? Yes, but the priority has to be on the debt. What I mean by that is the payment towards the debt has to be bigger than the payment or the savings amount towards your financial goals. So I would really focus on any extra money left over in the budget, and you'll know if you have leftover because there will be a net here, or there could be a negative amount. If there's a negative amount, then you have to cut back somewhere on your budget. And then that way you can prioritize and put the biggest amount towards that debt payment. And let's say you want to add $500 extra towards your debt payment and you still want to save for vacation, you put $200 towards your vacation savings account, savings goal, and you still prioritize the debt because debt got $500. That's how I did plan it out when I was paying off debt, and that's how I still plan it out when I'm prioritizing financial goals. So can you guess out of my financial goals, which one is the priority? I hope it's obvious. So that is how you're going to do this. Now, if you're wondering about the pre-tax paycheck contributions, these are all of the deductions that are taken from my husband's W-2. And that includes a whole bunch of different types of insurances as well as our retirement contributions. That's just kind of a check for us to know, okay, this is the amount of money that's going out before we get taxed. And that is going toward, this is just kind of a nice to know. So it really doesn't impact your budget other than it impacts your take home depending on what types of deductions you're taking from your W-2. Okay, so that's a look at how you can break down your monthly income to cover 1 month of living expenses. All you're looking at is just 30 days, planning out your fixed expenses that definitely needs to be taken care of along with your debt, then factoring in a little bit of fun and also thinking about your future financial goals. But again, if if you are in debt right now, then the priority needs to be paying off the debt. So it should get the most of your discretionary dollars. After your basic living needs have been met and those essentials and those needs have been taken care of, then you can go back and add more money and extra payments towards your debt. Tell me below in the comments, was this helpful for you? Do you feel overwhelmed or more confident? I have tons of videos on budget tutorials and using this spreadsheet. It is one of the best ways, and I love that this is still somewhat of a manual process because you actually get to feel those transactions. You're more involved and more intentional with your budget versus an app, because an app does all the work for you. Whereas with a spreadsheet like this, you actually get to dig into the numbers and have that emotional connection with spending your money again. So if you're a person who likes to tap their card or, use their phone to pay for expenses, you can get in that habit of detachment. This exercise helps you reconnect with your money again and hopefully give you the confidence to continue with this budgeting habit for life. If you like this one, give it a big thumbs up and I'll catch you in the next one.